10 minutes before midnight, the music box began to play. The room was silent and dark. Only the moonlight filtering through the window draped the old furniture in a silvery veil. The elderly man, owner of the antique shop, heard the sound from his room upstairs, and at first thought he was dreaming. But the melody was so clear, so real, that he got out of bed and slowly began to descend the stairs. The music box stood inside a glass case in the most secluded corner of the shop. No one had touched it. No one had turned its key. And yet it was plain. The man had bought the music box 3 weeks earlier at a real estate auction. It had been found among dusty chests in the basement of an abandoned mansion. There was a note on it, written in faded ink, nearly illegible. "Listen in the silence of the night." It will tell you the truth. He had laughed when he read the note. He could make an interesting story to sell to customers. But now, as he descended the stairs, that smile had vanished from his face, because the music box was truly playing, and the melody sounded very much like a lullaby his grandmother had sung to him in his childhood. When he opened the shop door, a cold breeze struck his face. The heating system has been off since 10 o'clock, but this wind was different. It was fresh, almost smelling of spring, as if someone had opened the windows and let the scent of flower gardens inside. But the windows were closed. All of them were closed. He approached the glass case. The music box was small, made of polished walnut wood, and on its lid were 2 carved figures, a man and a woman, posed as if dancing, their hands raised, their faces turned toward Rakiover. In the moonlight, these figures looked almost alive, as if they were breathing. The melody slowed, then it stopped. Silence returned. The man waited a moment before touching the glass. Perhaps it was a mechanical fault. Perhaps an old spring had loosened with its last strength. But inside, he knew that wasn't the case. Because when the music box began to play again, the dancing figures were moving this time. And that was when he noticed it. Beneath the music box, a date was engraved in small letters. 1847. And just below it, a name for Elise. The man spent the night in front of that glass case. The music box played every hour, and each time the movements of the dancing figures became a little more distinct, as if they were slowly waking from a long sleep. As he watched them, the man began to feel that there was a hidden message within the melody. Perhaps the person who wrote that note had been right. Perhaps the music box truly was saying something. When morning came, sunlight filled the shop and everything returned to normal. The music box was once again an ordinary antique. The dancing figures were frozen. The melody was gone. As the man was about to close his eyes from exhaustion, he noticed something on the glass of the display case, a thin fingerprint. But that fingerprint was coming from inside the glass. The next night, the man was ready. He knew the music box would play. 10 minutes before midnight, he sat in front of the display case with a notebook and a candle in his hand. The moonlight once again illuminated the room. But this time, the man was determined to observe everything more carefully. The melody began. The first notes drifted through the air, and the room suddenly grew even colder. The man saw the candle flame tremble, but it did not go out. The dancing figures began to move. Slowly at first, then a little faster. The male figure held the woman's hand, and they turned together. The man tried to take notes. Then something happened. The lid of the music box slowly opened. There was something inside. A small, yellowed piece of paper. The man hesitated before reaching for it. Perhaps it was just an old receipt. Perhaps a meaningless note. Still, he took it. When he unfolded the paper, he saw a few lines written in an old hand. "Elise, if you are reading this, you should know that I never left. Every night I wait for you here in this melody. Remember the last night we danced? The moonlight fell on your hair. You laughed. That laughter is still in my ears. I wait for you here every night in this music box. I know you will return one day. Henri." When the man finished the letter, the melody stopped. The dancing figures froze as well. But this time, the male figure's head was slightly bowed, as if he were tired. As if he was saying he could not go on waiting. The next day, the man began to research. He wanted to know whether there had been a Henri and an Elise living in this town in 1847. He went to the town archives, examined old newspaper records, and he found them. Henri Rousseau and Elise Moreau. A young couple. Henri was a musician, Elise the daughter of a wealthy merchant. They were engaged. But a week before the wedding, Elise disappeared. The newspapers wrote that she had been kidnapped. Some said she had suffered an accident, but her body was never found. Henri searched for Elise for years. Town after town, city after city. He found no trace. Finally, years later, he had this music box made. He placed within it the melody of the last night they danced. And until the day he died, he listened to that music box every night. When the man learned all this, he felt a deep sorrow. When Henri died, the music box was sold to an antiquarian, then to another, then another. For more than a century, it changed hands. But none of its owners noticed that it played on its own every night. Perhaps they did not want to notice. But this man had noticed, and now he didn't know what to do. He could sell the music box, but would that be a disrespect to Henri's story? Or should he protect it and listen to that melody every night? That night, the music box played again, but this time the man opened the display case and took the box in his hands. He looked at the dancing figures. There was sadness on the man's face, longing on the woman's. He touched them, and in that moment, he felt something. A warm touch, as if someone were holding his hand. As the melody ended, the man closed his eyes. And then, as if time were flowing backward, he saw a dancing couple in a garden under moonlight, dancing to music. The woman was laughing. The man was looking at her, his eyes filled with both happiness and sorrow, as if he knew. As if he knew this was their last dance. Then the image vanished. When the man opened his eyes, the music box was silent. The dancing figures were no longer moving. Something had changed. The male figure's head was no longer bowed. Now he was looking at the woman, and she was looking at him. In the days that followed, the man did not sell the music box. He placed it in the shop window, in a special place. And every night, 10 minutes before midnight, he listened to that melody. Sometimes customers came and asked about the music box. The man told them its story. Some did not believe it, some smiled. But some, very few, felt the truth. One night, an elderly woman stopped in front of the shop. She looked at the music box through the window and stood there for minutes. The man watched her. With trembling hands, the woman opened the door and came inside. "This music box," she said, her voice raspy. "I know it." The man looked at her. Her eyes were old, but there was a light in them. A familiar light. "My grandmother used to tell me a story," the woman said. There was a young girl, Elise. Her family did not want her to marry the man she loved, because he was poor. So they sent the girl far away to a convent. She stayed there for years, and she never forgot her love. But she could never return to him, because her family believed she was dead, and she chose to remain that way, silently, never returning. As the man listened, he looked at the music box. The dancing figures were there, still frozen, still holding each other. My grandmother was Elise's granddaughter," the woman said quietly. "A child was born in that convent, in secret, and that child survived. My grandmother always said, 'Love never dies. It just lives in other forms.' This music box is like that, the final proof of Henri's love." That night, the woman did not buy the music box, but she watched it for a long time. When the melody began 10 minutes before midnight, the woman cried, quietly, tears streaming down her cheeks. The man offered her a handkerchief, but the woman smiled. "I'm not crying," she said. "I just wish I knew that Henri was finally happy." The man looked at the window. Moonlight illuminated the shop, and at that moment, he saw a very thin light between the dancing figures, as if a spirit were binding them together. Perhaps he was imagining it. Perhaps it was exhaustion. But the man wanted to believe that light was real. "I think he is happy," the man said softly, "because he is still waiting. And maybe, somehow, Elise can hear him too." The woman closed her eyes and listened to the melody. The figures danced, slowly, gracefully, as if time had stopped, as if that moment would last forever. When morning came, the woman left, but the music box remained, still behind the shop window glass, still waiting, still playing its melody every night. Months passed. The music box was still not sold. The man no longer wanted to sell it, because listening to that melody every night gave him peace. Perhaps, like Henri, he too was waiting for someone. Perhaps everyone, in some way, listens to that melody for someone. One winter night, as snow fell, the man sat in front of the music box. There were 10 minutes to midnight. The candle was lit. The room was warm. Outside the window, snowflakes fell. Slowly, silently, the man closed his eyes and waited for the melody. When the melody began, the man noticed something. This time, the dancing figures were not just turning. They were moving closer to each other. The male figure leaned toward the woman's face. The woman looked at him, and in that moment, the two figures came together. They kissed, very briefly. But the man saw it. It was incredible, impossible, but real. The melody ended. The figures froze again. But now, they were no longer dancing. They were simply embracing. And in that moment, the man understood. Henri had finally reached Elise. After more than a century of waiting, within that melody, within that music box, two souls had united. That night, the man slept a deep, peaceful sleep. In his dream, he saw a garden. Two people were dancing under moonlight. To music, they were happy, and they would remain so forever. When the man woke the next morning, the music box was still there, but it no longer played. When midnight came, it remained silent. The man understood. Henri was no longer waiting. Because he had found her. He had found what he was searching for. The music box was now just an ordinary antique, but the man still kept it behind the shop window glass. Because that music box was not just an object. It was a story. A story of love, waiting, and hope. And perhaps one day someone else would see it and remember that story. Perhaps one night, you too will hear the melody of an old music box. And then, just for a moment, you will feel time stand still. You will see two dancing figures, and you will know that some loves never end. They only live in different forms. Forever. The darkness of night slowly falls. Moonlight touches the windows. And somewhere, an old music box waits silently. Perhaps one day it will play. Perhaps it never will. But its story, its melody, will remain forever. Just like true love.